Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really plunging into something that affects millions, but maybe flies under the radar a bit. This sleep apnea industry, it's booming. Our mission really is to explore whether this huge growth is, genuinely a healthcare win, tackling a real health issue, or has it become something more driven by profit? Let me start with a story, Mark's story. It might sound familiar. For years, just relentless snoring, chronic fatigue. He was basically running on coffee just to function. Then he sees this online ad, right, for home sleep apnea test. Looked like a simple fix. But what he got instead was, well, a kind of murky diagnosis, a really expensive machine, and then came the billing nightmares. Seriously. And as of July 16th, 2025, Mark's experience, it's not unusual at all. It actually mirrors this huge trend, this stat. Fair Health reported an absolutely astonishing 850% surge in private insurance claims for sleep apnea just between 2014 and 2017. 850%.
Wow. Yeah, that 850% figure it's really something. And that's exactly what our deep dive is about today. We need to unpack the complexities behind that kind of exponential growth. We'll look at the convenience the industry offers, because it is convenient sometimes, but also weigh that against the potential costs, the pitfalls that might come with it. So the core question we have to ask is this a genuine public health response, or are we actually watching what some people are calling a profit play in medicine?
It definitely has the feel of a gold rush, doesn't it? A frantic one. The numbers are just staggering. The market, pegged at $7 billion in 2025, and it's projected to soar like way up to maybe 12 or $13 billion within just 10 years. That's massive expansion.
It really is huge. And if you step back, you see what's driving it. It's this potent mix, really. New tech, for sure, but also incredibly aggressive marketing. We see those ads everywhere. And a big shift, a really significant shift, away from the old gold standard, the expensive in-lab polysomnography, where they wire you up and monitor everything overnight. Instead, we're seeing this rapid move to more accessible home test kits. Actually, a 2025 sleep market report noted a 40% jump in device sales just since 2020. Now, look, this definitely lowers the barrier to getting a diagnosis, but it absolutely raises serious questions. Is the convenience worth it? Are we getting the same diagnostic value?
Yeah, that home test revolution, the appeal is totally clear. Testing at home, getting results fast. Sounds great. And they monitor your breathing, your oxygen levels. Seems pretty thorough on the face of it, but what are the trade-offs? What's maybe hidden there?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The limitations are significant. They often completely skip monitoring how long you actually sleep, which, can easily lead to a misdiagnosis,
Yes.
especially if it's a mild case. Or if someone has other health issues going on, comorbidities like heart failure, those complicate things. And what's really interesting is the 2025 Journal of Sleep Research pointed out that sleep apnea severity can fluctuate, like 20 to 30% from night to night for the same person. So doing just a single night home test, that variability really casts some doubt on its reliability.
Okay, so they're marketed as this easy, universal fix. But the American Academy of Sleep Medicine in 2025 puts their accuracy at around 70%, which still funnels a lot of people towards treatment, right? If it's only 70% accurate. Doesn't that kind of imply the convenience might be hiding some real precision flaws, leading to maybe questionable diagnoses?
That's exactly the worry. And this easier access, it's definitely fueled what some experts are calling an implausible wave of diagnoses. You look at Swiss studies, for instance. They suggested something astounding, like half of all men and maybe a quarter of women have moderate to severe sleep apnea. Many specialists just look at those numbers for the general population and say, that seems unlikely.
So how are these diagnoses actually being made then? What's driving the numbers up so much?
Well, a big piece of the puzzle is the apnea-hypopnea index, the AHI. It measures how many times per hour you stop breathing, that's apnea, or have really shallow breathing hypopnea while you sleep, and it's central, absolutely central, to deciding on treatment. But relying only on the AHI score, that's being contested more and more. Because, as the journal Sleep highlighted in 2025, the same score can impact different people very differently. Plus, a 2025 Health Affairs analysis directly linked broader diagnostic criteria, basically, making it easier to get diagnosed to a huge 50% jump in diagnoses just since 2018. And the fallout. This potential overdiagnosis isn't just theoretical, it puts real strain on insurance systems, and more importantly, on individual patients who might be getting pushed towards treatments they don't actually need.
Right, which brings us straight to the money side. How does the industry turn these rising diagnoses into profit?
Yeah, the financial incentives are pretty stark when you look closely. That $7 billion industry figure we mentioned, it's directly supported by these diagnoses, fueled heavily by insurance payouts and, like we said, really aggressive direct-to-consumer ads. You see ads linking just general tiredness, something almost everyone feels, sometimes directly to sleep apnea. It creates this perception of need. Get this. A 2025 Ad Age report found a whopping $500 million spent on advertising in this sector. $500 million. It's this cycle, right? Marketing boosts demand, leads to more tests, more diagnoses, more profit.
Yeah.
And it's not just the CPAP machines. Insure.com reported in 2025 that just having a sleep apnea diagnosis can hike your life insurance premiums by 20%. It really shows how patients can, unfortunately, become what the source material called profit centers across different areas.
$500 million on ads. Wow, it certainly makes you look at those commercials differently. But okay, beyond the spreadsheets and the profits, there's a real human cost here. What does this actually mean for the people caught in the middle of all this?
Well, it means a lot. It can have a profound impact. Think about the psychological side. The stress of the diagnosis itself, maybe feeling pressured into using a CPAP, and just the constant awareness every night of needing this medical device to sleep. Then there's the money, of course. Those CPAP machines aren't cheap. $500 to $2,000 is a wide range, but it's significant. Plus the day-to-day hassle of actually using it correctly, cleaning it, dealing with masks. Compliance isn't always easy. Now, we absolutely have to acknowledge, severe sleep apnea is serious. It carries real risks, heart disease, stroke. Treatment is vital for those people. But the problem is when potentially mild cases get swept up, maybe based on shaky home tests. That could trap millions in treatment that might not be necessary for them. You see evidence of the difficulty in a 2025 Consumer Reports study? It found a 30% non-compliance rate with CPAP. That says a lot about the practical challenges. And maybe even more telling, a 2025 Patient Advocate Network survey found 40% of patients felt pressured into starting therapy. That really highlights this tension, doesn't it? Between genuine patient well-being and these underlying profit motives.
So with all this marketing, this fast growth, who's actually keeping an eye on the industry? It sounds like maybe regulation hasn't quite caught up.
That's a really critical point. Oversight seems to be lagging. The FDA, for example, approves many of these home tests with what seems like minimal scrutiny. According to the FDA's own 2025 data, only about 10% go through really rigorous clinical trials. Just 10%. And then you add in the fact that insurance often covers these tests quite readily. Plus, inconsistent standards for testing and billing, which a 2025 GAO report flagged. It sort of creates an environment where overbilling can happen more easily. This regulatory gap, well, it just widens that gap between potential profit and proven health benefits for patients.
Okay, so for you listening, trying to navigate all this, what does it all mean? It sounds like the key takeaway is empowerment, making informed choices.
Yes, exactly. It's striking how much power you gain just by being informed. First things first, always talk to your doctor about any sleep problems. Don't just rely on an online ad. Second, understand the accuracy difference. Home tests, maybe 67% accurate. Lab tests, the polysomnography, over 90%, big difference. You should also try to understand your AHI score if you get tested. Remember, 5 to 15 events per hour is mild, 15 to 30 is moderate, and over 30 is severe. So a really important question becomes, what if your score is on the low end, like under 15? A 2025 Sleep Foundation guide actually recommends getting a second opinion in that mild range, especially if you're unsure.
Right. Being informed really does seem like the best defense. It helps you cut through the marketing noise, any pressure you might feel. It puts you back in control of decisions about your health. So, reflecting on all this, it feels like we're at a crossroads, doesn't it? The sleep apnea industry is balancing this amazing technological innovation against what some people worry might be kind of profit bubble, that incredible 850% surge in claims. It captures it all. The tech leaps, the marketing power, and yes, some genuine improvements in managing a chronic condition.
Which leaves us with a really provocative question, one that's going to shape this whole field and affect millions of patients moving forward. Do patients or profits ultimately win? As of today, July 16th, 2025, that feels like the central challenge we need to keep asking.
It's a powerful thought to end on. Be your own advocate. Be informed. And we genuinely love to hear what you think. What stood out to you in this deep dive? Do you agree with our take on the sleep apnea industry right now? Maybe you disagree. Let us know, leave a comment below. And hey, if you want to keep expanding your mind with great information like this, please be sure to visit Mind Expansion Daily. Like this deep dive, subscribe to Mind Expansion Daily. That way you'll never miss another exploration into the topics that really matter.